And that was the Economist Prime Minister, perhaps a professor in the Prime Minister, speaking more tonight while he addressed the nation. Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh making his case and his government's case for the strong measures and this tough reforms agenda that they've pushed through on the Big Bang Friday, on a day when his government stands with 19 MPs less from the Trinamool Congress. Has he been able to convince the government, the people of the country, has he been able to convince the voter base of the Congress and the UPA? Has India understood the Economist Prime Minister? Here to discuss that with me tonight, we have Manoj Jha, spokesperson of the RJD, with us in studio. Dr. Sambit Patra, spokesperson of the Delhi BJP. Professor Kamal Mitra Chinoy, political analyst, and my co-anchor and our editorial director, Sunil Jha. And before we go across to our guests, let me turn to you, Sunil, and ask you this. Has the message been delivered? Did you get the sense that he's convinced the people of the country about what his agenda is and the government's agenda is?
He's made a message that he has also written a script that tomorrow we might say that good economics can be the harbinger of good politics as well.
Okay, all right. But the question is, has he proved strong enough in the current political scenario when the knives are out? The knives are out for him. The knives are out for the government, Dr. Sambit Patra. The opposition, though, what is the opposition doing?
I see this whole thing as a parameter diversion. Because look, a few years, from today, since few years, the most important topic that has been in the air, that has been discussed by the public at large, and the image of the government that has been made in the public's mind is that of corruption, which is the right issue. So presently, the government suddenly wakes up to see that enough has been done about corruption. So let us change the tactics and let us bring on the reform mode. And let's ask people today in the television, all those parties, are you with the reforms?
Hang on a second.
Are you
Hang on a second. Are you saying that if you were in government at this point in time, that you would not take these tough measures?
See, it is right
knowing
now,
the state of the economy?
Look, the issue is, if you would look at the speech,
no,
at one point of time,
answer the question.
I'm just doing the same thing. At one point of time, Mr. Manmohan Singh asks and says that it is the SUVs and the rich people. Directly he says that SUVs and the rich people who use the diesel. So diesel is not for the poor man, and so poor man is not going to suffer the just rupees 5 litre raise.
But that's a very poor sense of inductive logic.
No.
He has not said that you are inducing.
No, not inducing. He has said it. It is written quite clearly over here.
Read it again.
Please read it. It is over here. We have raised the price of diesel by just rupees 5 per litre instead of rupees 17 that was needed, whatever it was. Much of diesel is used by big cars. Big cars and SUVs owned by the rich and by the factories.
Don't delete that.
Let me remind, this statement needs to be made. Let me remind that much of the diesel, in fact, is used in the trucks for the commodities to be transported, and the price
we have a
based
study
to a large
on that.
extent.
You can refer to that study.
Let me get in, Professor Chinoy, at this point of time. Be honest, and I'm relying on you to cut through all these political screens that you will see coming up tonight on this debate. Can any party, irrespective of its political ideology, not take tough measures at this point? So then, I'm coming back to you.
I can refer to you. 14th of May 2000.
All right. So in the light of that, Dr. Patra, I want to ask you this, honestly. Given the current political situation, do you feel today's address by the Prime Minister, do you see the Prime Minister first, the Economist second, the Prime Minister being able to weather the political storm and the pressure that surrounds the government at this time? Politically, has he proved strong enough?
No, not at all. Rather, I see that it was his last attempt for a final image makeover, because this time on, Colgate onwards, it was the image of the Prime Minister personally which has taken the beating, and he had no other options left. In fact, the beating within the Congress also, it was quite tough, and there is a rumor going around that this is the apt time for Rahul Gandhi to replace him. So I think this was the best time for him to protect himself, and he has come forward with just an image makeover and nothing new.
Yes, Professor.
You know, I think there's been some exaggeration in the speech, which could have been avoided. For example, talking of...
Welcome back. You're watching News X as we continue to debate the message that the Prime Minister has given the nation tonight. Let me also introduce with us tonight, joining us.
This gimmicking that is happening by the opposition right now, most other
Sambit,
parties, apart from BJP, is just because of posturing. It is just a posturing.
Finally, we see this debate live and up now.
Wait on a minute. What did the Prime Minister say? The Prime Minister said some political parties have opposed them. So it's not only the BJP. He's talking about broader coalition.
That's the party or other parties to bring this government down. Why don't you bring this government down? Do you have the numbers to bring this government down?
You're relying on the TMC.
As simple as
you
that.
wanted TMC to bring it down. You want
No, we never wanted anyone to bring this government down. Our only expectation was
your leaders came out in public saying
saneness would prevail into the minds of the allies as far as the country's development is concerned. And they would sanely, in fact, opt out of this government.
Hilal Nabi wants to respond to that.
But they are watching you. Apart from this crying for all our stamps, you are also into communalization.
See,
you had the option.
Let me ask you a simple question. Dr. Patra.
Let me tell you one thing. All these kind of gimmicking that is going on by all the other opposition parties, apart from BJP, if SP, Mullah, TMC and RJD, in fact, had been opposing the hike in the fuel price, it was not BJP who went and told it.
Dr. Sambit Patra, it's very simple. In politics and in democracy.
We're not going to pull down the government. But on the face of it, yes, we must go out onto the streets of the country and protest.
Not at all. Let me say that, let me remind you that in fact the Kerala government, which is a Congress government, is not in favor of the FDI. Even it is opposing the FDI. So that is not the issue. The issue today is, it is not just FDI and the price rise. Apart from that, corruption, which has totally marred and mooted the government, that is also a very big issue. And BJP is almost the only important political party in the country today which has hit the streets with these issues. None of the other political parties.
I think there have been other
enough skeletons within them.
What skeletons do we have? Let me know.
Yes, Mr. Naqvi.
Till date, it will be investigated properly. So why he is having he has fixed out there every time he is there. The whole party is a very confused party.
1.86 lakh crores of the country lost. It is not that you are fixed out. It is a necessity.
No agenda.
It's a very necessary necessity.
It is playing the negative politics. They don't.
It is not negative politics. You can loot the country, and if we want to bring the whole thing to the limelight, it is like negative politics.
Is coming out. They don't have any agenda. They don't have any foresightedness. They don't have any economic reforms.
But Mr. Hilal Naqvi, some people also say the reforms measures.
And if you think that you have got the majority, you just come out and bring that no confidence motion on the floor.
That's the basic question.
Okay, let me answer the question. In spite of being a minority government and morally accepting the fact, they are in fact, I mean, this is the arrogance of Congress. Look at the
arrogance of the Congress.
They have right now been reduced to a minority. And in spite of being a minority government, this is the way they speak.
Abdul Qadir Chaudhry. I want to get in Abdul Qadir Chaudhry from the SP at this point of time. Do you feel the... Hang on, Hilal, hold on a second. Hilal, hold on a second. Hilal, just a minute. I want to get in your ally, Hilal. I want to get in your ally. Let's hear from your ally for a moment. Mr. Chaudhry.
Where is the money of the country gone? In all kinds of scams, 2G, 3G, Colgate and what not, Yeah. And now what we are trying to do is bring in FDI. Foreign investment. We are acting like beggars.
Absolutely.
He does not want to withdraw the support.
No, absolutely. No, the fact that money doesn't grow on trees, but votes also don't grow on trees. You do you do need to govern, and that is something that is.
But it is doing.
Then it was the easiest for you. It's before you answer. It is not a matter of whether BJP is convinced or not. It's a matter of whether people are convinced or not.
Exactly.
If people are not convinced. People would answer it.
That's the question for Manoj. How are you going to convince the people?
Any other political party is not hurting. So why
Royden, this is very important fact pertaining to this. Okay. See, we are...
Give her a chance.
Yeah, we have in fact signed a treaty with 82 countries, a bilateral treaty where the country is considered as a unit, not as states in fact. So how the states can decide on what they are going to do with the FDI? We are in a treaty with the country as units.
Okay, fine. Aditi, do you see that we've
this
come
is
to
a democratic process and Mr.
Can the economist professor stay the course? Can he convince the country? I think that is a question we will ask ourselves repeatedly over the next few days and weeks. And the country, of course, will keep asking of the government whether it has enough in it to stay the course and continue on this road that it has chosen to take. For the moment, we'll have to leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Stay with us on NewsX.